Hello and welcome back everybody to the Foodbuild factory, where today we're going to take a look at the kernel. That's the guy you can see on screen right now. I mean hardly see, it's night, but I just checked, it's around 2 a.m. so not far into the video we should be seeing daylight. And as always, I'm going to show you some gameplay in the first half of the video, and in the second half of the video we're going to take a look at the perks, mutations, equipment and everything else. So let's get right into it. What this character is going to be about is we are playing as a vats heavy gunner. Just in case you're wondering, this turret here sometimes doesn't really work with want to be vats. Not sure what it is about this particular thing, but yeah, mentioned it in other videos. Anyways, we are going to play as a vats heavy gunner, more specifically using the plasma caster. Now, plasma caster is a weapon I have shown off, I think at least twice on this channel before. First time I did, I was making a vats character also, but in power armor, enclave character, so to speak. And yeah, the next time we were seeing this in action was when I was using a hybrid build, focusing on energy weapons, plasma weaponry to be more precise, and yeah, I was using pistols and the plasma caster. But well, anyways, what I wanted to do this time around is just make a non-power armor plasma caster build focused on only the plasma caster. The weapon itself is one of my favorite weapons in the game. It's just unique. It fills a very niche role in its weapon class. Has a cool aesthetic. I've always been a fan of the energy weapons in Fallout, in the whole series. They just look so goofy yet menacing. I'm not sure how to get my point across here, but yeah, in 76 they were initially very disappointing. Most of the energy weapons were quite trashy. Now, when it comes to heavy weapons, they've always been in a bit of a better position. But yeah, rifleman characters weren't too great when it came to energy weapons. And this weapon here feels like you are playing a rifleman. Okay. This was odd. It feels like you're playing a rifleman. Oh, here we do have a sentry bot and with a shot to the fusion core, no problem. As you saw earlier, probably I was using berry mantats, not berry mantats. Is it berry mantats? Oh, I think it actually is berry mantats. Wait a second. Orange mantats, sorry. For better perception and vats hit chance. Usually I don't really use consumables in my videos, and in general I'm not a big user in this game when it comes to consumables. But on this occasion, I made an exception. Not the first time I do so. I always think, like, if I find a consumable to be especially beneficial, and in addition to that it's one that is relatively easy to come by, then I oftentimes decide, okay, it's worth it to show it off. And on this occasion it is. Because, see, the main problem with the character, I mean, it's a relatively straightforward character, it's not hard to do or anything, but one thing you will encounter is that there's a lot of compromise that you want to do. See, if you want to play this as a vets character, which most likely you want to do, I mean, the plasma caster, it does work as a free aim weapon, can definitely use it, but it's way less efficient when it comes to the ammo, quite simply. So you want to use this thing in that, right? And what you will encounter is you need a lot of points in strength, just because that's where the damage perk cards for this weapon lie. And then you want to have relatively good perception, which is an odd stat when it comes to this weapon, because there's just not a whole lot that's all that beneficial to you. So you mostly want to increase your perception just for the passive benefit of better vets hit chance. Then the next stat would be, completely forgot about those guys. The next stat would be charisma, which is a dumb stat, definitely. One stat we do want to invest a little bit into, just in case. By the way, I'm going to use a carry weight booster for the video. The carry weight isn't a problem with this weapon. It's just because, you know, so many spooky scorched. We're carrying a lot of stuff. Back to the topic. You do want to have a little bit of endurance because you're not stealthy, and you want to be a little bit tanky at least. So you have to spend some points on that. And intelligence, well, X as a dump stat on this occasion would also always be nice to have a little bit higher though. And yeah, lastly, you want to have quite a lot of agility, just because, yeah, the weapon isn't the most efficient when it comes to vats action points. I mean, it's not terrible, but you do need quite a bit, actually. And lastly, since you're already using vats, it would be a shame if you're not invested a little bit into crits. So, as you can see, there's only two stats that really are working as a dump stat. I'm talking about charisma and intelligence. So yeah, you see what I'm where I'm getting at with this. The weapon just needs a lot of investment in special points, and yeah, I really had a bit of a tough time figuring out a nice combination because you can't just max it out all the way. I mean, if you're having access to all maxed out legendary perks, that definitely would help a lot here, but it's not the case, especially not on this character. And so, yeah, I had to fiddle around a lot, see what's worth it to me, what's not, and yeah, that's basically the interesting part about the video. The weapon itself is very good. I really like it. It's very efficient for basically every scenario. Now, okay, kind of forgot to watch out for this guy here, so that was my fault. Bit of an unlucky time lately with the Red Rocket Mega Truck Stop. I always seem to forget about the Assaultron. But yeah, the weapon is great. I like it, and to be honest, the only real benefit not using this in power armor is the fact that you don't run through your fusion cores so fast when using vats all the time. And yeah, that's it basically. Like, there's not a whole lot more to it. You would definitely see better accuracy and armor penetration in power armor, which would be very nice. Now you can easily get around this by using just an anti-armor plasma caster if you have access to one, which would be probably my favorite on this occasion. Anti-armor, vats hit chance with less vats cost, probably. That would, yeah, probably be my favorite. But on this occasion we actually have something different. We have a two-shot vats hit chance ghost plasma caster, which I'm gonna be honest, I wasn't too hyped when I saw the weapon. What I wanted to see though is vats hit chance, which is very nice. It's definitely an effect I wanted to have here, just because, yeah, as I said, there's a lot of compromise with this weapon, so I just couldn't fit in too many points into perception. I just couldn't justify it, sadly, and therefore, yeah, I was missing quite a lot of shots, which was a bit annoying, but then again, it's a two-shot weapon, so I wasn't really too keen because I thought, well, the downside from two-shot would probably just be about cancelled from the vats hit chance effect, and so we end up with a pretty much stock standard plasma caster again. But to my surprise, I used it a little bit, and it actually worked out very well. So when it comes to accuracy, forgive me by the way, it's just from the top of my head, but with this one here we do have 38 accuracy, while with any other version that's not debuffed by two-shot and having the same modifications, we could get around 75 or so accuracy, so it definitely is a big debuff from the two-shot effect. But as you can see there, we actually hit very consistently, as long as we're not going for super great ranges. Let's just pop another orange mantis here. And yeah, it works out very fine. Now we do have a few other tidbits here and there that help us with our accuracy. So for once, since we're playing a Enclave character, I thought, okay, this is weird. It would actually be appropriate to use the Last Bastion legendary effect, which is a fixed legendary reward. Not quite sure at which point you're getting it, but it should be during the Enclave main quest line. And yeah, it's basically just a covered scout, not covered scout, a urban scout chest piece with 5% better vats accuracy, gun accuracy, more precisely. Not the greatest thing in the world, honestly, but I wanted to use it, and well, it gives us a bit more accuracy here, feels fitting for the character. And in addition to that, we do use, as I said, orange mentats to further boost our Vats hit chance. And combining all of that, I actually had a ton of fun with this character. You can see there, we are relatively precise. Obviously, we do miss a shot here and there, but that's no problem. And then another thing I wanted to try out is I basically, ever since this weapon came out, I always used it with the aligned sniper barrel, just because it has the biggest range, and aligned barrels usually decrease your AP cost for the weapon in VATS, which is true. I mean, at least if I'm referring to the wiki here, but well, it reduces the aligned sniper barrel reduces your AP cost by 5%, which hardly isn't the world. And looking a little bit more into it, I actually saw that, yeah, the true long barrel increases the accuracy greatly. And with greatly, I mean we're talking about something like, on this occasion, without, so with the aligned sniper barrel, I would be at 23 accuracy, which is very low. And with the true barrel, we are at 38. So that's quite a significant improvement on this occasion. And therefore I went with the true barrel, which I nowadays actually prefer in terms of visuals as well. We do have a little bit less range, but we're talking about something like 15 less range or so. And we are using this thing in close to mid ranges either way. So, yeah. Here we can see a little bit of a gun food chain working out rather well for us. Always nice to see that. It's kind of a little challenge for me every time I go here to try to kill the critters in a way that I end up with a gun food chain on the Deathclaw, which is always nice when it works out. And yeah, I honestly don't really know what to tell about this build. We are a little bit invested into making chems more efficient. By that I mean we do have the perk that makes it so we can't get addicted to cams, and in addition to that we do have the perk that makes cams last longer, which is very nice. Makes it way more efficient to use the orange mentats. Let's just see, we popped them a while ago and they're still going for 6 minutes. I think with the perks we do have, it's about 9 minutes or so that we can get the effect from the orange mentats. As you can see there, 5 perception and 10 vats accuracy. And it's not even all we can do. We can also use the appropriate mod for the chest piece, which we could buy at the modus vendor. So we can get yet another improvement on the duration of our cams. But I will have a build coming up rather soon which does that. So yeah, another cam build, but one that I actually quite enjoy, and using stuff like Psychopaths and Overdrive, which are relatively abundant. Now when it comes to orange mentats, I just found that I had quite a large amount of them in my stash, just from playing the game a lot. But actually hunting for them today, I was just vendor hopping a little bit, and they seem to be surprisingly common in vending machines from other players. For like 15 to 20 caps, that's the range I encountered the most. I mean, there's exceptions, obviously, but yeah. Within half an hour of vendor hopping, I found at least like 6 or 7 vendors who had 20 or more of the orange mentats in their stock. So it's not hard to come by and not actually too expensive. Spend something like 1,000 caps over an hour or so and you will have orange mentats for days. Just checking, I've seen a legendary up there that I somehow missed. I mean, we're going to take a look at it, and then we're going to take a look at the perks and so on. In terms of the visuals, that's something I wanted to mention, by the way. As you probably know, we are actually wearing some Brotherhood attire. The hood is Brotherhood, so that could be a little bit off for some of you if you're the kind of person who really gives a lot about the lore. But on the other side, Fallout 76 has a little bit different rules because, yeah, every Vault Dweller from Vault 76 kind of gets access to everything sooner or later. So you're going to go for a little bit of a mixed match here. The only thing in terms of our visuals that's actually Enclave related is actually the Scout armor mask, sorry, covered Scout mask, which I do really like. I like the green eyes, that's a really nice visual touch. And I thought combined with the hood, it actually felt like it is a single headpiece that works together real nicely. Yeah, that's why I went for it. And the other is an Armor Ace outfit, I think it's called. Altogether, I think it really works out. You're looking like an, yeah, high-tech intelligence officer or something like that. Anyways, that was the gameplay part of the kernel, guys. I hope you enjoyed it, and now we're going to take a look at the mutations and all that stuff. So let's get into it. Here we do have it. As you can see there, we do currently have a little bit more strength just because our Eagle Eyes serum is still active for another 2 minutes. But the debuff we will see there is just to... Okay, it's over. So here it is. Adrenal Reaction, Bird Bones, Eagle Eyes, Marsupial, Scale Skin, and Speed Demon. So what's there to say? Bird Bones and Eagle Eyes, very straightforward. More agility for more vats usage, better crit damage from Eagle Eyes, and more perception. So Eagle Eyes is very beneficial in this character. Then we do have our standards here, Marsupial and Speed Demon. Faster reload speed, faster movement speed, further jump height, all very beneficial. So a bit more carry weight, also nice to have. Then we do have Scaly Skin, which reduces our AP, which is kind of a bummer, but a bit more resistances are nice since we're not stealthy, we're always getting attacked. And yeah, 50 AP, as you can see down there, we have 210 at the moment. Without Scaly Skin, it would be 260, so maybe another shot. But we are basically making up for it with fast AP refresh. And lastly, we do have Adrenal Reaction, which is in no way necessary on this build. It's hit or miss, depending if you like it or not. I just left it in there, was a leftover from another build, but you could definitely live without it if you don't want to use that. That being said, now let's go over to our equipment, and here it is, a Twoshot Vats hit chance and ghost effect plasma caster. Now this is something I wanted to mention during the video. I'm not quite sure actually if the ghost effect works on this weapon for some reason. I never really noticed it. I didn't really pay attention to it as well, but somehow, yeah, I hate this effect. It sounds cool on paper, but the execution of it is terrible. I think it does never add anything to a weapon. I haven't found one so far, at least. Even on very fast firing weapons, it just seemed to not do anything, to be honest. But yeah, Vats hit chance, that's basically the centerpiece of this weapon here. Very nice to have. And Twoshot, while it's not the craziest thing in the world, it actually is rather nice on this weapon here. Even though, yeah, as I said, debuffs our accuracy quite significantly. And if you're looking at the accuracy stat here, you would just think that this is not a weapon to use in Vats at all. But as you saw, just a few tricks there, here and there. No problem whatsoever. And even in the beginning of the video, I think you saw me do a lot of shots without the orange bandits, and the difference isn't too great. You can definitely play this without consumables perfectly. You just have to be a little bit closer, maybe, but that's it. And yeah, that's all there is to say about the plasma caster. Now, there's a little bit of room for improvement if we're using the prime receiver or the prime capacitor or the calibrated capacitor. Calibrated capacitor would add a bit of extra crit damage, so that would definitely be nice. I just didn't have the bullion to buy it. And in terms of the prime receiver, that will probably be my go-to. Superior damage to Scorch, and especially prime plasma cartridges are very easy to come by. But that being said, this weapon is rather effective. It's rather efficient when it comes to plasma cartridges, so As you see down there, I have around 2,900 of them, and we started the video with, I think, was 3,200 or so. So yeah, definitely not a bad decision here. And lastly, the condition. It breaks rather fast, I gotta say, but in a manageable realm. It's not going to be a problem for you. And now we're going to take a look at armor. We do have a life-saving Urban Scout right leg, which, as you can see, is garbage. It's just there, to be honest. Then we do have it padded Last Bastion here. Last Bastion, name of the piece, 5% gun accuracy improvement, and a little padded. I just bought this thing with this modification, giving us a little bit more explosive resistance. But yeah, not a lot to say here. And then we do have 3 pieces of combat armor, 2 Vanguard's AP refresh, and 1 weightless AP refresh. So I just wanted to have 3 pieces with the powered legendary effect, because yeah, having fast AP refresh is actually pretty important on this character. And yeah, there it is. Apparel, boss camouflage infantry hood. Then we do have the Crown Turon backpack, chemist modification, Combat Scout armor. Really nice piece. One of my favorite additions to the loot pool from Daily Ops. Icebreaker outfit. And lastly, we are using Shielded Marine wetsuit here. Extra strength, perception, and endurance. We are interested in endurance and perception here. Strength is nice to counter the debuffs from our mutations a little bit, but yeah, strength only alters our carry weight. That's the only noticeable difference here. That's why I didn't bother to wait till Eagle Eyes was the serum Eagle Eyes was worn out. Just because, yeah, you know the difference in the gameplay wouldn't be there. It's just that we can carry a little bit less now, compared to if we don't have those debuffs. And yeah, that was it in terms of equipment, and now let's take a look at the perks. We want to make this rather quick here, just so the video doesn't get too long. Strength 15, Heavy Gunner perks maxed out, Lock and Load maxed out. You're only having 20 shots in your magazine, which means you're reloading rather often. And it can take a while, so yeah, having Lock and Load and Speed Demon definitely helps in that situation. And lastly, we do have Blocker. You can go for whatever you like here. Barbarian could be a good choice, just so you don't have to worry too much about your armor breaking. But yeah, I went with Blocker, just if melee enemies come through. Yeah, 45% less damage, always a good decision. Then we do have Perception at 9 here. We do have Concentrated Fire. We do have Fire in the Hole and Grenadier. These are just placeholders. So what you can see here is we do have 6 perk points not spent here. Reason being, I didn't have them available. And what I would add with them are situational perks. Talking about Glow Sight and Exterminator. Extra armor penetration against insects means, and Mirelurks would also work should also work against the Mirelurk Queen, which would be nice if we would encounter one, and Mirelurk Kings can be a pest. And Glow Sight is never a bad decision, especially if you have to fill some points up here. You could fill your points with awareness. There's a lot of stuff in perception that you usually don't use because you have high perception only on characters like Rifleman, Gunslingers, or Commando builds, which do have appropriate perks in that stat. But yeah, on this occasion, the only thing you desperately need here is Concentrated Fire, and as I said, I would fill the rest here with Glow Sight and Exterminators. But I figured I don't have to wait 5 more level ups, just so you can see those 2 perks not being in action, because Exterminators, yeah, you wouldn't even have encountered, maybe against the Blowflies in the beginning of the video, but I think, yeah. And Glow Sight, well, I think we only fought 1 glowing enemy, so there's that. Then we do have Endurance, Chem Fiend, Chem Resistance, and Fireproof, so pretty straightforward combination here. Fireproof is always a good decision. Chem Fiend, any chems last 100% longer, it makes our orange methods way more efficient. And lastly, we do have 2 perk points in Chem Resistance, just so we can freely use chems without the risk of addiction. Then we go over to Charisma. We only have 1 point in Charisma, which we went for Inspirational. just because, yeah, this is a straight up, sorry, dumpstead on this occasion. I would actually go for Tenderizer at rank 1, but I mean, now I do have to level up, but in the beginning of the video I think I didn't. So yeah, do whatever you like here. 1 point of Tenderizer. Probably you have seen the video from Tier where he explains how Tenderizer works, and you can get actually more than 10% multiplicative damage. And from what he's shown, yeah, with this weapon we would actually have our 10% multiplicative damage from Tenderizer even with only 1 point here, just because 2 projectiles are hitting the enemy and so on. But I highly encourage you to watch his video. Not always the biggest fan of Tier, but this video was particularly good, I think. Very well explained and everything. So if I remember it, I will include a link into my description. But to be honest, guys, if you're watching this channel here, you know who Tier is and have probably seen his video. Sorry. Then we go over to Intelligence. Rank 3, batteries included, all we have here. It's necessary, it is, definitely. Plasma cartridges are quite heavy, so reducing their weight by 90% is pretty much important. No way to get around this. And then we do have Agility at 15. So we do have Action Boy, as I said, AP Refresh, quite important here. Evasive, Gun Fu, White Knight, and Adrenaline. Adrenaline, pretty straightforward pick. White Knight as well. We're not stealthy, we're always getting hit, so we don't want to repair our armor constantly, and if we have to, making it cheaper is a nice thing to have. Gun Fu, I often go for just rank 1. Rank 3 is nice, but while it's not even too rare that it happens, that you kill multiple enemies in a row, up to 3 or so, what I always find a little bit of is, yeah, I hate to manually swap between enemies during a fight in Fallout 76, so making efficient use out of higher ranks of Gun Fu, other than just the gimmick of switching between targets after they die, is a bit fiddly. You definitely have to work on that, so therefore, yeah, rank 1 is enough oftentimes. I went for Evasive here just to give us a bit more base resistance. If maybe you saw earlier, we are currently at something like 360 damage and energy resistance, which is pretty well in the diminishing returns. So without Evasive, we would be somewhere around 300. So we definitely see a noticeable bit more damage taken without Evasive. And lastly, we are in Luck, which wasn't yet another compromise. I obviously would have liked it to be as high as possible, but we went with Grim Reaper Sprint, Better Criticals, Fall Leaf Clover, and Starched Jeans. It's a bit debatable here. Instead of Fall Leaf Clover, you could go with Critical Savvy maxed out, but to be honest, you would probably need 3 shots to fill your critical meter, and that means every 4th shot would be a critical, and I think we can get the same, if not a better return from Fall Leaf Clover. We do have a 2-shot weapon, meaning that we do have 2 times the chance that Fall Leaf Clover triggers, and overall, I think the amount of crits we're pumping out is okay. It's definitely not the greatest, but the main benefit of this weapon is it's very hard hitting and doesn't actually need too many crits. It's just good enough to regularly hit the head. And Fall Leaf Clover, in my opinion, has the best returns on this weapon when it comes to crits. But that's up to you. You could try it. If you get your luck higher, definitely go for Critical Savvy. So if you're reaching something like a 15 luck, yeah, Critical Savvy would be the way to go. But for how it turned out here, I went with Fall Leaf Clover. Better Criticals, where it was a very obvious choice, more damage with them. And Grim Reaper Sprint. Yeah, we do have a lot of AP refresh, so we could live without it. I just think the gameplay feels more fluent with it. And lastly, Starched Jeans, as always, want to keep our mutations, not get any new ones. So sadly, it's kind of a hard pick. And then, in terms of legendary perks, we have boosted our intelligence, endurance, and perception here. So obviously, you can see there's a lot of room here. We could ditch out Ammo Factory and improve another skill point here. But yeah, I went with Ammo Factory just because, to be honest, obviously the better choice would be to buff another stat. Then we do have Wad Rats just for the convenience, and Far-Flung Fireworks, which I'm not the biggest fan of, but every now and then I do like to use it. I think it's not the most efficient legendary perk in the world, but it's fun. So you can see you could definitely improve a lot when it comes to the legendary perks here. Taking one for the team would be a very good choice if you are a team player. I'm just not, so I often play solo. But yeah, that would be a very nice pick. But I actually felt like this weapon does not need a lot of damage buffs. It's actually astonishingly powerful for what it is. I'm not a big fan of Two-Shot. It's not the craziest effect in the world, so imagine anti-armor one, instigating one, aristocrats, you call it bloodied, obviously, but chances are you've seen a bloodied one in action, have used one, or seen a YouTube video about it. But yeah, anyways, that was it. I hope you enjoyed it, guys, and yeah, let's just take a look at our thumbnail, and then I would say see you next time. By the way, there's one little thing that's coming up. I actually want to do a spooky Scorched Street bag opening. Watch out for that. Bye.